I have a ton of respect for Vrabel and the way he runs a team, the way he has his pillars of his program and preaches those and gets everyone to buy in.
You're a Texas A&M guy. Aggies having a great year.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts just on now that we're in November? Things are really getting into crunch time. CFP seeding coming out. Like, how are you viewing your Aggies coming down the stretch here?
Man, it's been a lot of fun. I'm so happy for that team and all the work that they've put into to get to where they're at. Won some big games and just kind of kept charging throughout the season, getting better each and every week, and they're playing good football. Defense is playing really well. Offense is scoring a lot of points. Marcel Reed, I think, is a really good player. Casey Concepcion is really talented. So we have talent everywhere, and it's been a lot of fun to be a fan. Being able to kind of see more now than I ever have been. Being out of it myself has been fun for me to take in a few more games and keep up with it a little bit more. So hopefully we can finish this year strong and get into the playoff and make a run for it.
Yeah, you mentioned a guy like Concepcion. He really jumps off the screen to me when I'm watching A&M. You
Yeah.
mentioned Marcel Reed, kind of same thing. If Marcel Reed had an NFL comparison, who do you think it would be?
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess maybe like Lamar. I think both are probably early on kind of mislabeled as like running quarterbacks. I think Lamar was way more dangerous with his arm than people realized early in his career. Obviously now he's fully established, but I think early on, people kind of thought he was just going to run around all the time, and he made a ton of plays with his arm. Well, we got Marcel Reed, kind of similar last year, right? Got in, ran a little bit, and all of a sudden now he's just a running quarterback. Well, you take a look back, he's throwing the ball really well. I think he's getting better each and every week and getting more experience under his belt. But then at the same time, they both have that ability. If things break down, or they can use their legs or some design QB runs as well, which opens up a whole new element of the offense. So, yeah, I mean, definitely a little bit different, but I see some similarities there.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. Yeah, thank you for that comparison. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Miami, one of the teams playing in Madrid on Sunday against the Washington Commanders. Your former team, you spent several seasons there in Miami, but things are not going too great there this year. They fired their general manager. What do you think needs to happen in Miami to right the ship there?
I think as I take a step back and kind of in my time in the league, is like the good teams traditionally have a good trenches, right? Offensive and defensive lines. If you can build around that, then and you have a solid quarterback, then you're going to be in a good position to win a lot of games. If you look at kind of the top offensive lines right now, if you look at the rankings of the top offensive lines in the league, and then you go look at the top overall teams in the league, it's pretty much the same list, right? Of hand in hand of the top five are probably the top five on the other side of it. So that's where it all starts, and then from there you can build on it. So I always I always say if I was building a team, I'm going to start it in the trenches and then build from there.
Is there a team's trench play this season? I don't know how much you're watching all 32 teams right now or anything, but like, is there a team's trench play that has like, I guess, impressed you this season that maybe you weren't expecting?
I don't like keep up with all
Yeah,
32 teams or anything like that. I still keep up with the game a little bit. So if I'm at home and going to watch TV, I'm going to throw a game on, right? Because I still love football. But, I'm not like sitting on the couch for all Sunday each and every week trying to soak in as much football as I can. Um, let's see. I mean, I think if you look at the Patriots, I think they've kind of surprised a lot of people. And their offensive line is playing really well. Quarterback's playing well, which is a nod to him, and it's also a nod to the offensive line, right? If the offensive line's playing well, it's a little bit easier to play quarterback. So, yeah, I think you'd have to kind of tip your hat to those guys and what they're doing up there.
no, that's your former coach over there in New England, Mike Vrabel. I definitely wanted to ask you about him. I'm sure his success at his new spot doesn't come as too much of a surprise to you.
No, not a surprise. I have a ton of respect for Vrabel and the way he runs a team, the way he has his pillars of his program and preaches those and gets everyone to buy in. And then it's easy to buy in once you start seeing things pay off and come to fruition. Things he's talking about in a team meeting all week and situations he's prepared you for, and then they happen, and you see the power of that happening in a game, and you're winning more games because of how you handle those details each and every week. So yeah, ton of respect for him, and no, not surprised at success up there.
So is that kind of his superpower then? Because I've been thinking about this a little bit. Like he just is so in tune with what it was like when he was a player that he's able to completely prioritize what players need to know going into a game, and that's why there's that special connection there.
I think it's part of it. I think I haven't got from him the whole story, but I think a lot of it came from New England, right? Initially, his days in New England, Belichick, and now he's putting kind of his own spin on it, right? How he wants to interact and run the team. But I think the foundation of it all comes back to his time with Belichick and being able to master those situations that come up in the game, into half, into game, 2 minute, all the little details that they come up and can easily be overlooked. But when you're in it, they make such a big difference each and every year. You might win 2 or 3 more games in one season that you wouldn't have if you didn't nail those details. So it makes a huge difference, in the course of a year.
I know it's been a season and a half since you played in the NFL, but to my knowledge, no official retirement paperwork has been filed. If a team called Ryan, are you in position to maybe answer it?
I mean, I'm in shape, but no, I think last year I was definitely, kind of ready to go if the right call came along. Was getting a lot of calls, and just nothing felt right. It had to be the right situation. I was at peace with where things were at, and just had to be the right situation for myself and my family, and just never came up. So this year, kind of have let that go, and I'm still in shape, but that's just how I intend to live my life. Not in respect to being ready to go.
Who called? I gotta ask.
Last year,
Yeah.
it was several teams. So I mean, I'm not gonna run through the gamut of it, but yeah, it was definitely several teams. But I was looking for something where I could kind of come in and finish the year, come into like a playoff contender and kind of finish the year, which had happened the previous couple of years. Several quarterbacks had went down, and that kind of situation had come up. Thankfully for the league, unfortunately for me, last year it was never really happened. It was kind of, it's going to be 3 weeks, and then our starters coming back. So just never felt right.
All right, last thing from me here, then we'll get you out of here. It's a series we call at USA Today Sports, in my bag. So Ryan Tannehill, it's not a moment that maybe got played the most on Sports Center or your most highlight reel worthy play, but a moment where you impressed yourself the most. What was the moment you were deepest in your bag?
In my bag. Um, I'm gonna go all the way back, way back. It's like rookie year. Goal line play against the Patriots, and I jumped over a guy and put the ball over for a touchdown. I'll go there.